Hey y'all, so today we have a new game for you today. I've got probably one of the best end games I've ever played. The rest of the game, however, was not that good, but either way, we'll get into it. My opponent starts off the game with d4, and I've been dabbling in knight f6 lines recently, so my opponent goes here. And here I normally play d5. I transpose back into a normal d45 position. Here, I decide to mirror my opponent with bishop f5. E3, I continue mirroring with e6. My opponent goes knight bd2, and I decide to play the move c4 here, c5 here, which is normally what black does to stop this type of thing. Normally, black does to stop stop symmetry here. And my opponent has a decent move. My opponent finds bishop b8. And the point is, obviously, that after I take, my opponent's going to have this check, right? I'm not able to block because the knight comes here. And this is a pretty good move, and I immediately play the wrong move. I play rook takes b8. A move that seems like the most natural thing in the world, but it's actually not. And the reason why is because queen takes b8 is just light years better, because after here, we have king d8. And if we play rook d8, like happens in the game, after bishop b5, king d8 doesn't exist, and so I have to move my king up, and my opponent has to capture, and my opponent gets to capture another free pawn. And this is why the move queen d8 is better. Queen b8 is better, but it's a little tough. Also, if you might be wondering, knight here absolutely simply loses to this. There's actually just no way to defend yourself. You're just gonna lose a piece here. So bishop b5, king e7. My opponent takes here, and I think for a while, and I end up playing a pretty decent move. I play the move queen a5. Simply the idea is that now the bishop is a little loose. This pawn is in the way, and there's some issues. And I thought that c4 was probably the best move here. After takes, I thought bishop c4. And although he gives me back the pawn, now even like rook c1 stuff, there's already pressure against my queen. My king is out in the open. I thought that I was losing there. So I was like, okay, well, after c4 I would play a6, bishop a4 takes, and something interesting over there. But my opponent shocks me already and plays a move I didn't really look at, although it's very, very natural. My opponent plays knight d4. Simply putting the knight in the center, targeting my bishop. If I allowed him to take my bishop, if I play like a6, I thought that this was really not what I wanted. Like, I thought this was like awful. I thought this was just like game over. Like bishop e2, if I take this pawn, I thought like knight b3, queen, I guess back to c7, and I thought that this pawn was a massive liability. This pawn could be won in the future. Maybe I was thinking instead of bishop e2, maybe I was thinking bishop d3, immediately targeting, but here, I don't know. I thought that my king was way too exposed in this line, and I just didn't want to go for it. And instead, I played bishop g6, to leave my bishop back, and I'm trying to play a6 next. Castles, I play a6, and my opponent finds this nasty move that I also missed, which is just knight 2b3, and this is a nasty move. If I stick around, if I go here, my queen is just trapped. My queen is just trapped. a3 traps the queen, also c3 traps the queen, but either way, like I'd have to go here, 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 and this is obviously lost. So there, I had to play queen c7, and I completely missed that move. I just thought my opponent had to go back and give me back the pawn, and we'd get into some interesting positions. But either way, knight 2b3, queen c7, of course, the only move that makes any sense. Queen d8 is ridiculous, and I would never play it. Actually, after queen d8, there's a very nice sacrifice. I do actually want to show this. After queen d8, bishop takes a6 is a move, and if I recapture, white has this fork on my king and my queen. So queen d8 is bad. Queen c7, bishop d6, d3, my bad. I come back with my king simply because for two reasons. Basically, now my bishop is unlocked. I'm able to target this pawn. Of course, taking this bishop is probably just worse for white because hg comes with a mate threat. After h6, bishop c5. Sure, this position is like okay, but I think it's black trying to play for a win here with rook c8 ideas pressuring these pawns. I have e4, e5. I have more central space. Probably my opponent will have to play something like f4 in some lines, but f4 greatly weakens this square. It's a tough position to play with white. That's my point. So my opponent doesn't do that. My opponent goes c6. Okay, I recapture. Nothing to it. My opponent's his idea is obviously to take on a6, but I thought here I was actually okay after the move bishop d6 first, attacking a pawn and developing my piece. Obviously, got to be a good move. He pushes his pawn, and now I was really thinking here for a while because I thought I was almost winning. Basically, if I go here, which is the move I played in the game, and my opponent comes back, I thought this move, and like the bishop is like trapped, like knight bd4, I thought like probably this move, and in this line the knight is trapped. I thought this was probably better for black. I'm right, but my opponent doesn't have to do that. And after c5, I saw this line while I was playing. After c5, I was calculating for a while the move bishop c5 check. It obviously doesn't work after symbol king f8 now. That's why bishop d6 was so important. And the move I missed here was actually, I didn't miss the move, I just underestimated it. I misevaluated knight b5 as being okay for black, and I thought that I would find something here. I played queen b6, and after check takes, I thought that my position wasn't actually that bad because I was able to, maybe I'll pick up the b2 pawn because I'll have the move c4 and sometimes, but here I played way too fast and I played c4 in 3 seconds. Obviously it blunders. Simple bishop takes c4. A little misstep on my part, but here I might have, I don't know, I might have like queen e5 or something. It's not good. You shouldn't play like this, but yeah, I kind of missed that immediately in my 2 seconds of thought, but whatever. My opponent plays this move, and mutual blindness, always nice. So I take the pawn, and I've equalized, actually. I thought I've equalized here, because although my king is a little weak, and he can come down, after this move, I thought, well, I can either play queen b6, defend my rook, takes, we get a bunch of trades, easy draw, or I can try to play for a win. And you know me, I always like playing for a win. I took on a2. My opponent quickly played rook b7. Nice move. And I played the wrong move here. I played knight d7, which wasn't very good. The reason why it's not good is because it allows queen b1, which is what happened in the game. But really what I should have played was either rook a8 first, which is kind of crazy because knight b5 comes and he's just forking me. But actually knight b5, I guess queen c6, and then queen d4 is the top engine move. Oh, because I can't take the rook, and it gets really bad there. I didn't really want to allow that, so I play knight d7. Idea simply being, I want to go king e7. I want to bring my rook out, and I want to have an equal game. My opponent won queen b1. I went rook back to a8. Not the best move because it actually blunders the thing that I just talked to you about, which is a little awful. So here I go queen c6, and my opponent gives me this check. I come back up. I obviously should have seen that. I was kind of beating myself up about playing that instead of like rook a6, but rook a6 is actually worse. It's actually just the same tactic. I don't know why I was beating myself up for that, but rook a8 here, check up. And my opponent plays the wrong move here. Opponent plays the wrong move. Oh, he plays a move that's very natural. He plays the move that's very natural, but it's actually wrong. And he plays queen b4 check. And he's basically saying, okay, well, you're up a pawn, but what's going to happen? We're going to trade queens. I do. We're going to trade queens, right? And then I'm going to take your rook, and I'm going to be up in exchange. Queens are off the board. We're fine. That was his logic. It's not bad logic. It's obviously not bad logic. It makes lots of sense. But the issue is, even though I'm going to be down a rook, down exchange, my opponent takes here first, and even though we're going to be down in exchange, I'm actually fine. One and only move here, queen b4. If I take the rook immediately, I just lose. I just lose to this tactic. And this is obviously lost. I'm down a full rook. And even if he didn't have that, even if he played like, I don't know, queen b2, this position is still much worse for black, simply because the queens are on, and I don't have enough compensation for the rook. So, queen d6 takes, queen b4 takes, takes. And my opponent plays this move c3. And now I'm actually better. I'm actually better here. And I mean, c3 makes sense, right? He's trying to defend his pawn. I think that the better way of playing it was probably rook b2. I know this is scary because it allows this, but actually I thought this was fine. After like something like this, he's threatening this move, and it's a little rough. King d6, like even bishop e5, knight f6. I don't really see how I'm able to make progress here, and that's a little rough. The best move here is rook a3 or h5 or king d6. A lot of actually good moves here, but my opponent ends up playing move c3, and I realized that this made a mistake, and I'm very proud to say this is one of the few times that one of the times that my chessbook course recently has helped me out. One of the ones that I own, I have a Nimso course, and there's some lines in here where we get into an endgame like this, where even though black is down in exchange, white has a very hard time keeping black in foot, and black is actually better. So I realized this, and I played rook a2, and this is kind of the stuff that happens in the course that I own. And my opponent has to move the bishop out here, like to one of these two squares, or he can guard it with the rook. I know it looks passive, but it has to be done. He will be losing the pawn, this pawn on c3, and I will get a pass out probably better. But my opponent makes a big mistake, goes here, and now I have this move, very important move, bishop d3 here, and now rook a1. Now rook a1. If I played rook a1 first, this isn't as good. This is just not as good because the rook is defended. The bishop isn't even pinned. Bishop can just move, and this isn't very good. So here, his rook is pinned. His bishop is pinned, and he's king. I cannot come to defend the rook. So I knew I was better here. And after this move, I just went out and won the pawn. I mean, why not? I'm gonna get a passer. Then my knight's gonna get into the game, and it's gonna be I'm gonna have a jolly old time, and he's gonna have a terrible time. So takes, king moves up. I bring my knight up. Very important. Knight has to come here instead of like e5, for example, because I'm defending the b2 square as well. Bishop moves. I take, and I decide to immediately come in with this fork, knowing full well that he had this check, because I didn't think it was actually that bad. It's not correct. Really, I probably should have played like king d6 or something, and just walked my king over here before coming here. But I got a little excited. So here, I played king d6, sacking my pawns, because obviously I'll take this rook, and that's a winning endgame. My opponent goes here. I go rook c2 check, which is an interesting idea. Basically, the idea is I want him to come here, and then I'm going to go here, threaten mate. After the rook comes back, I thought I was just going for a draw here. I wasn't really wanting to play for a win. I should have played for a win. Either way, here, I go rook c1. My opponent takes my knight. I was prepared for this. I take, recaptures, and I come back. And in a perfect situation, the rooks get traded, easy win, because the king has deflection properties. If like here, I can probably even go here, king d3. I get a passer. My king's gonna walk around, feast on all these pawns. I'm gonna stop him from coming in, and this is kind of easy. I'm just gonna push my pawns. He's gonna run out of pawn moves before I can, and this is just a very easy win. I also have this passer, which is just easily winning. So he doesn't want to trade with me, and that's why I played rook b8. I went f6 with an interesting idea. It's not the best idea. He plays here. I go here, simply shutting him down, and not allowing him to play this. He goes here, a very nice move. And although I'm up a pawn, this is actually a drawn endgame, but it's complicated still. I play e5. I'm trying to make a passer. If I can make a passer, I'm probably winning. Like in this position, d4 is just easily winning because I have a passer, but it's more than that. I have this square for my rook, and I'm just simply winning. My opponent plays h5. I go rook a7. Simple idea. I want to give him some side checks and win some of his pawns and infiltrate. Check, here, here. I give him a check. Here, I give him another check. King goes back out, and now I play rook f2, and we trade pawns. And this position I thought was a little bit better for me because now he has a hole here, and this pawn is actually a massive liability. He comes here, and he's actually losing. He's actually losing the game immediately. But I miss it. He's losing the game for one move only. The only move, f5. f5 works here. Obviously, after takes, this pawn is gone or easy win. And he can't do anything here. Takes. He gets a passer. My passer is much better. Let's say rook all the way over here. I can simply push. He might come try to go here and stop me. I have this move g5, hg here, and I mean rook a7 takes here. There's nothing. I'm 2 squares away from queening. The game is practically over. You can give me some more checks. I'm always going to be able to hide, but like this move, rook f2 up, this is over. This is over. My opponent has nothing. I actually just go back to f8. I'd probably go back to f7 in the game, but that would be completely over. But I miss it, and I play rook g3. Miss it, and I play rook g3. My opponent defends, which I thought was his idea, and I'm still trying to play for a win. I come back, check, king back. He comes back up, and I'm trying to kind of get my pieces around. I want to get here, play f6 maybe. I want to try something, but he has this nice move, king move. That's probably the best move. Here. I need to cut off the king. I don't want him to come over to this g6 square because then I might be losing. Rook here, and then we start shuffling, and this is just a draw. I try a little bit more. I play king h7. Maybe I'm going to move my rook away from this f5 square now that the g6 square is covered. I move my rook away. I try to give him some side checks, but nothing works, and in the end, this is just a draw. And here we have a 3-move repetition. So this game was a really nice game, and I really enjoyed it. I played at 88.7% accuracy. My opponent played at 88.6% accuracy. So, I mean, it's slightly better than my opponent. But 2,400 estimated rating is always nice. That was this game. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys found this entertaining, instructive, all of the above. Very fun game to play. A little disappointed about my play in the opening, but in the end game, I think I played beautifully. Except for missing f5. I really... that's findable. I should have been able to find that. Either way, remember to like, subscribe, all the normal things YouTubers do, or all the YouTubers tell you to do. Good evening and good night.